Fast forward, any come our channel so how a GH Politics Avenue. Need you man broke shame your mom running in Simu. Only a quaying Sima. A UK delegates, ABPM or Ghana Hoxie. Now, Omani a year minority and a majority, and a Speaker of Parliament, ABCI, deputy so now Okan. Now, we see in a year, Afenyo markings, editor, many say, Sisiano, a bino a shoe many. Akuffo aban no emia wo man nyasem koto akra se ye chichi wo mu na e mu build conditions a chese odwene ho a wonte ase ni senti no ama chese omoda omunda enti ebeya UK aban no omohwe na omokebi ema wo mu onua ye mu nguram ni nti ensim no mu kire mu ye pa cheno so ma me se aha GH Politics Avenue.
The removal of the Chief Justice, Torkornoo, has been criticized by the opposition. The minority leader, Alexander Afenyo, says the move is purely political.
We in the minority are not satisfied or happy with how the Chief Justice was recently removed. We see it as more of politics than really ensuring that there is some accountability. Of course, once we've been in office for 8 years, we expect that the new government coming in with its reset policy may want to investigate and all is part of the politics, the democratic accountability. They must. But we also expect that the law will be applied in a humane way.
Alexander Afenyo is of the view that government has persistently been using law enforcement agencies to arrest and detain members of the past government with onerous bail conditions.
On our side, as the minority, we are going through some turbulence. We came in with 88, and the majority will not let us have our peace. They just snatched one seat from us. But it is what it is. So we are now back to mighty 87. If you are investigating someone, you ask the person to report, and he reports. You don't just handcuff the person when he has voluntarily come to you for investigation, and then you say, I have put a bail bond of, say, 50,000 on you, look for property before I release you. These are some of the challenges that we believe we can improve upon.
The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, receiving the UK delegation, hailed the partnership between both countries.
It is evident that the Parliament of Ghana has benefited immensely from the technical and financial support provided by the United Kingdom. What is holding us back is the hybrid that we adopted in our constitution. And we are happy that the government of the day is leading the country's quest to reform and revise our 1992 constitution. We hope once again our good partners like you be supportive of our efforts for us to balance the arms of government properly.
The UK Minister for International Development, Baroness Chapman, while commending Ghana's democracy, urged reforms to deal with parliamentary challenges.
Here in Ghana, you have open, free, successful elections. You have peaceful transfers of government. You've had one very recently. These things also are not to be taken for granted. And the work that you've done over many years now to build a strong parliament is something that we admire and we commend and we want to. But there is certainly a need to think about how members of parliament who are not ministers and not part of the government, how they can fulfil their duty to scrutinise and to hold the government to account in a way that's visible to citizens and that inspires citizens to take part and that grows confidence among citizenship in our democratic processes.
In more news tonight, organised labour has backed calls by President Mahama to review the single spine pay policy without delay. According to Labour, the current state of the salary structure has made workers worse off, with some earning as low as 400 Ghana cedis and inadequate pension benefits. Our Labour correspondent, Daniel Opoku, has more in this report.
In 2021, the government convened a meeting with organised labour to review the single spine pay policy. 4 years on, Labour leaders say they are yet to receive any final report or implementation plan. President John Dramani Mahama, during a recent media encounter, admitted that the policy has failed to deliver fair wages across the board. He cited widespread distortions and wage disparities that continue to demoralize public sector workers. Organized Labour says the time for a review is now.
Look, there are people on the spine. How do you explain this one? That people go to the university, do the same program. They have the same value. On the spine, the moment they come out, one is put on 18 and other one put on 16. How do you explain this one?
It is so serious that, my brother, I can tell you that you go to an institution, and I will mention Lands Commission, for instance, where you have two people, same qualification, employed at the same time, doing the same work, have the same job function. They all come to work, they all do, but belong to two different unions. One is being paid an allowance for doing that work. The other is denied.
And the most painful part of that is that the pensioner or a worker who goes on pension, his pension is based on the salary, his last 3-year best salary. And for the average, for the past 3 years, those who are retiring now, average pensioner takes home less than 400 Ghana. It is sometimes when you see your members going home to die.
They are now pushing for the immediate establishment of an independent emolument commission to address salary disparities and restore equity in the public sector.
Since we are in the nation and together and collectively we're working together, we will always need to find policies, programs, systems that will help us reward people adequately and fairly so that they can give up their best.
Whatever the National Independent Commission is to be, we are waiting for that engagement to take place. And I must say, it's taking a bit too long for that to happen. That is what I can candidly tell the president.
But the Independence Emoluments Commission is something that we have called for. The single span pay policy and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission know that we are living below the minimum wage. We are living below the living wage.
Organized Labour insists that until drastic action is taken, the plight of Ghanaian workers would only worsen.
And now, Ghana's major trading hubs, Abosokai and Okaishi, have once again become flashpoints of tension. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is clashing with Nigerian traders over who has the right to operate in Ghana's retail space. At the heart of the impasse are two conflicting sets of rules: Ghana's national investment laws and ECOWAS regional protocols. Our reporter Michael Obodo explains the intricacies.
It's a battle that has simmered for years.
On one side, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, insists that Ghana's Investment Promotion Center Act, GIPC Act 865, reserves petty trading exclusively for Ghanaians. By law, foreigners must invest at least $200,000 and employ 10 Ghanaians if they want to operate in retail. On the other side, there's the fact of what the ECOWAS protocols on free movement and establishment direct. Those treaties signed by Ghana itself guarantee all African citizens the right to live and work and establish businesses in any member country without discrimination based on nationality.
It's not fair. Nations are governed with laws. If you do not go rule by the law, then there's disorder, such as the one that you are showing.
Yes, they bring goods, they put higher price. But most of Nigerians, even 1-10% you get, you 2 kids. But I don't understand why Ghanaians, we always talking about this issue of this thing. You understand me? This Nigeria, they make market very simple for us.
The flashpoints are Abosokai, famous for spare parts, and Okaishi, a hub for cosmetics and textiles. Here, GUTA members have repeatedly demanded the closure of Nigerian-owned shops, citing unfair competition. Nigerians, in turn, appeal to the government and to ECOWAS for protection. As stipulated, under Supplementary Protocol on the Right of Establishment, Article 4, which states community citizens shall have the right to engage in and carry out non-salaried activities and to exercise the professions of their choice, subject to the rules and regulations applicable to the nationals of the host member states. The exemption in this clause is only for activities connected to the exercise of official authority, that is the judiciary, armed forces, and the civil service, which remain reserved for citizens.
The IPC law is a local law in Ghana that protects the interests of the locals.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. But when we go further to look at this treaty, ECOWAS protocol on residence, movement, residence and establishment, you find out that it gives any other ECOWAS citizen some leeway.
The shop belongs to my wife. What they are doing is illegal work, because if you want to do legal work, you go to Register General, check all the shop, and you know who owns the shop.
Caught in the middle is the government of Ghana, torn between enforcing its domestic laws and respecting ECOWAS obligations. A breach of either could have serious consequences: loss of investor confidence locally, diplomatic tensions with Nigeria, Ghana's biggest West African trade partner, and be in breach of the Vienna Convention Article 27 that Ghana is a signatory to, which explicitly says internal law cannot override treaty obligations. Experts say the solution may lie in redefining petty trading to protect vulnerable local traders while allowing ECOWAS citizens to operate formal businesses if they are properly registered, taxed, and deploy Ghanaians. There are also calls for dialogue, bringing together GUTA, Nigerian traders, the Ministry of Trade, and ECOWAS mediators to agree on fair rules and prevent street-level confrontations.
For now, the impasse remains unresolved, but with Ghana's markets at
we have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have.
Some members of the public weighed in on the president's response to the galamsey fight.
Yesterday, there's a question asked the government about galamsey. He answered the question, but I think he should do more, because campaign platform, he said a lot of things that we thought that if he come, he can do well, so that he bring the galamsey down.
He said categorically that they are not going to declare any state of emergency, but then we want to see a clear way forward as to how the galamsey is being tackled by Mahama.
The president's response to the question on galamsey has not gone down well with civil society organizations who have been calling for much tougher stance against illegal mining. Deputy Director of Arocha Ghana, Daryl Bosu, has questioned President Mahama's commitment in the fight against illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey.
The point of state of emergency, I was also really expecting more from the president. And for him to say that it's going to be a last resort, he's practically telling us that until every drop of this country is destroyed, then there is not going to be action. Otherwise, what does he mean by a last resort? So the president really, in terms of his statement on the fight against galamsey and all of that, it wasn't reassuring at all. It was not inspiring.
The Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey has noted that President Mahama's posture to dealing with galamsey does not inspire hope in tackling the menace. In a statement issued on September and signed by convener of the group, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, the group lamented that the president's statement did not convey the urgency required in the fight to rid off environmental terrorism. The posture, according to the group, has downplayed the severity of the crisis, which has led to the pollution of over 60% of water bodies with heavy metals. According to the coalition, government withdrawal of police forces undertaking anti-galamsey operations is misplaced. The coalition said the police anti-galamsey task force, though not perfect, were fearless and had brought the illegal mining situation under control. On the president's rejection of calls for a declaration of state of emergency, the coalition disagreed with the president, stating that the situation on grounds has not improved since his assumption of office.
Meanwhile, former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo has added her voice to the heated national conversation on illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, reacting to President John Dramani Mahama's refusal to declare a state of emergency in affected areas. She urged Ghanaians to give the president the benefit of the doubt, stressing that his assurance to rely on existing laws to curb the menace deserves time and support.
Speaking on the subject, former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo recommended a wait-and-see approach to how existing laws are enforced before resorting to emergency measures.
There are measures that have been put in place. Yeah, so we wait to see how those measures pan out. For all you know, those measures will begin to roll back or halt and then begin to roll back the menace. So the benefit of the doubt, isn't that what it should be?
For his part, a senior fellow at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Dr. Eric Odrosai, called for a halt to mining lease renewals and a reset of the mining sector in Ghana's interest.
We have on numerous occasions called for a comprehensive review of Ghana's Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act 2016, Act 919, to ensure full local ownership and the accrual of benefits to the nation. As a country, our most significant endowment lies in our natural resources. To realize their full potential, we must own them, mine them responsibly, add value locally, and sell the finished product to maximize revenue. The Institute recommends government to restrict future mining leases to promote local ownership. We urge government to leverage local expertise and limit foreign involvement to service contracts. Ghana possesses substantial technical and managerial expertise in the mining sector. It is time to harness this capacity to manage our mineral resources in the national interest.
Touching on the work of Gold Board, Chair of the Institute of Economic Affairs, Dr. Charles Mensah, demanded more.
We're staying on the subject a while longer. Professor Mamodu Akurugu is a member of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. He's joined us via Zoom for a quick chat on this. Prof, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Asido, and good evening to your viewers.
You are part of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. We have seen your statement, which in part says that you were more or less disappointed at the answer that the president gave. Can you help us understand what your expectation was in terms of an answer from the president? What did you want him to say regarding galamsey?
Straightforward, you could have just said that the state of emergency or targeted state of emergency in those areas is one of the measures being considered. I mean, that would have sent a more positive signal of the urgency of the situation, you know, rather than saying that it's the last resort. Because what are the KPIs? What are the key performance indicators of where we should get to before a state of emergency can be seen to be the only solution? And
okay.
Respectfully,
and what do you make of the fact that since assuming office, there have also been some clear signs? There's a task force by the IGP. We have seen them go to various forest reserves, seize galamsey equipment, and then even have come under attack, etc. Aren't these enough? Plus the president adding that there are already existing laws we are implementing and we need to exhaust it fully before we consider a state of emergency. These are not satisfying enough?
As we talk, where is the task force? Have they not been called back? And all the things that you say is being done, has it not been done in the past? The previous government did all those things. They seized excavators, they burned them, they did all kinds of things. Did they stop? The laws that we are talking about, are they new laws? Or these are laws that have been implemented 8 years of the previous government and 8 months of this government. You cannot continue the business as usual approach and expect to get different results. Yes, those are the laws that have been used. The approaches that are being used now are the same approaches. As we talk, the task force have been called back. So what are we talking about?
Right. So, Mr. Akuffo, in conclusion, there is a call for declaration of a state of emergency. What exactly does that even mean to you? And if a state of emergency is declared by the president, what should we be expecting to see for us to say that, yes, now this means the government is serious about fighting galamsey?
You know, when state of emergency is declared, from a layman's understanding, the rise of privileges of people is taken off. For example, a common curfew, you are not supposed to be out during the curfew hours. We know what happened during the what we call COVID-19, and we know how the lockdown supported in our effort to deal with it. So, if targeted state of emergency is declared in these areas, the movement of the people and the mobilizing of community people to even fight law enforcement, they will not even be out to be able to be doing that.
We ain't some who team course watching on so Mamma was say Ojimre Ewaha, that's a so bad in their dumbi edumania. We are beside shame na Yasumo Kwasan Kusukura. Ha, a huge politics avenue.